of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Wow, one of them is really thick.
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will be expected to implement their plan as put forward in their manifesto. Failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. Therefore, these 3 piles of documents in front of us represent where each candidate stands on key policy issues. There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what each person's proposing. I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when you're done. Finished, huh? What did you think?
Everyone took it very...
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked, and keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute... That's for me to know and you to find out. We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time. Start with Chenwei.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you two are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I certainly hadn't imagined I'd be seeing two I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp.
Mind your tone, Miss...
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was Cloud Retainer. You know this Adeptus? Oh, yes, I remember now. You must be the traveler that people are constantly talking about. With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to understand the concepts I have put forward. Although I shouldn't get my hopes up.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please, introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I work in the Ministry of Civil Affairs. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months, and 3 days. In that time, I've handled, I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, 16 days? My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts. To be more precise, there are 3 parts to the accounts, namely...
Is it just Paimon, or is he not very good at public speaking?
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there and move on to some questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hello. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little nervous. What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away and I'll answer your questions to the...
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be sure that you have the ability to put your...
Very fair question. I completely understand where you're coming from. But I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise than myself, and my manifesto is the conclusion of these efforts. Of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very...
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed solution being the
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the Yuehai Pavilion evaluate any proposals before implementation. If it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results, I would take responsibility.
Nice answer. All right, next question.
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was thoughtful and logical.
Here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas in his manifesto which effectively target the big issues. But he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care much about other people's feelings. Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous in his work, very detail-oriented. But he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across as very timid in conversation.
Perfect summary. Paimon couldn't agree more. You're good at this, Yelan.
Last but not least, Zhi. His manifesto is full of pertinent details, his methodology is sound, and his proposals cover a broad range of fields, which is quite a rare feat. The depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. Plus, he is modest and good at dealing with people. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like Zhi take the position would certainly put Uncle Tien's mind at rest.
Great!
We'll see. Let's go back and report to Uncle Tien.
Follow the wind.
I see. Then it's more or less as I anticipated.
All right, then let me ask this. The ideas in Zhi's manifesto are very similar to your own. Is there any particular reason behind this?
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates, for fear of affecting your judgment. But I can tell you now. Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past. It's only natural that they share. But Qianwei went on to focus on his business, and Mingbo has always been occupied with his work at the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Of all of them,
Whoa! So how did you get to know them all, Uncle Tien?
Qianwei was referred to me by an old friend. Mingbo came to my attention in the course of my work. As for Zhi, that was pure happenstance. We first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, we started discussing all sorts of topics. Zhi came from a poor family, and his parents died when he was very young. But he reminded me of a younger version of myself. So I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing and noticed how quiet. And now, all of a sudden, he's grown into a mature young man. It's a joy to see, but it also gets one thinking. The young are growing up, and I am growing old. How time flies. No one can escape the cycle of life.
I don't know, Uncle Tien. You still seem in pretty good shape to me. You might have another few years of work left in you, don't you think?
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me. Having less energy than I used to isn't a
Sounds like you sure love fishing, Uncle Tien.
Ooh, there's nothing quite like fishing to pass the time. Ooh, and freshly caught fish, they make the most beautiful fish soup with barely any preparation required.
Fresh fish soup. Sounds...
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, Juri purchased a very special recipe from an old fisherman. When we've been fishing recently, Juri always brings some extra ingredients, but that flavor makes for a fond memory. But at my age, who knows how many more chances I have left to taste it again.
Oh, can Paimon come next time too? Paimon really wants to try it.
Let's get back to the matter at hand. Uncle Tian, we've reported back. Do you have a verdict?
I appointed you as the assessment officer, and I trust your judgment. Had you not asked me why Juri's ideas were so similar to mine, I was not going to mention my history with any of them. This decision must be guided by what is fair and right. Please disregard all other considerations and make your final decision only after a thorough review of each candidate's talents and capabilities. Remember, you must be thorough.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian. Look after yourself. So, it's gonna be Jiri, right? His manifesto was written well, and he's the best speaker.
Easy. Let's not rush. There's no time limit for...
Huh? So, are you gonna give them more?
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath many layers of deception. You have to get information through many different channels. For example, Wenyuan, Shanghua.
Yes?
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they? Where did they come from?
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. They work for me. As my trusted assistants, they are always standing guard nearby. They also perform various assignments as required. Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also Upei, who's not here right now.
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right? I seem to remember that he can't swim.
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and waves.
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go...
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Jiri?
Jiri, well, obviously as the most promising candidate. Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people passing through there. You can find out...
If we're looking for information, why don't we try talking to He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe he has some news.
That's actually not a bad...
What's Polite doing here today?
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price. How am I supposed to turn a profit?
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single best batch of Sunsettias ever. You won't find anyone who disputes that. I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded yet. If you won't take him, I'll just have to partner with them instead, and neither of us wants that.
Okay, well, when you put it that way, I'll accept your asking price. I'll take all your stock. Don't sell a single one to Second Life. Oh, what are you doing here? And to be clear, these Sunsettias are mine. I got to them first. Don't...
Actually, we wanted to ask you about a guy called Juri. Have you heard of him before?
Juri? Yes, he's quite well known. I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. His parents died when he was young, and he was treated cruelly by the local community. One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time, but Juri never retaliated. And when his neighbor went bankrupt, he even helped support the family. He returned cruelty with kindness, injustice with peace offerings. A gentleman of talent and character, and... oh, how did I not notice him sooner? In fact, maybe I'm not too late. If I could hire him to be the brand ambassador...
Oh, he sounds like a decent man. We can finally breathe a sigh of relief.
Why are you asking about him anyway? You aren't looking for a brand ambassador too, are you? Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the... Ah, that's Juri right over there. Why don't we go and talk to him?
Where? Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Yelan. Come on, let's follow them and listen in. Try not to let him see you. We want this information to be as truthful as possible.
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this. Hey!
I understand. Let's walk and talk. So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine, who likes to have a drink now and then, he fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't care for needless extravagance. So I thought I might buy him a set of high-quality fakes.
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me, then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Miss Yelan.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Juri. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me. Juri seems to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems like everyone thinks Juri's a great guy.
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the wharf where he usually goes fishing.
Yui, wait. You're not just trying to dig up some dirt on
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. You'll be able to try all the finest food for free. How does that sound?
We will? Well, come on! Off to the South Wharf we go!
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish to the nearby fish market.
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, Liyue Anglers Association, and we just wanted to ask a few questions about someone. We've heard about this young man called Zhi, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman. Just wondering if you happen to have heard of him?
Whoa! Yelan made up a whole fake identity without batting an eyelid!
Ah, yes, Zhi. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and they tell me everywhere they go they meet someone who's heard of him. Apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work several jobs alongside his studies to make ends meet. How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's anything to that logic, he's sure to be phenomenally successful one day.
Yeah, we think so too!
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one thing. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about. If you're looking to recruit some new members, though, I do know a few top anglers I could put you in touch with.
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right now, though, so why don't I come back some other time and we can chat over a drink?
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000. You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society for Fish Price Research. We'd just like to ask a few questions.
Wow! She switched identity again!
Society for Fish Price Research? I haven't done anything illegal. Stay out of my business.
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct a simple survey. We've heard about a certain Zhi who's been selling fresh fish at low prices in this area recently. Do you know anything about this?
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I can tell you what I know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt. No one wanted anything to do with him. He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage wrapped around his head. And he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, I wouldn't be surprised to find out he's been selling a few fish. It's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business. Don't tell him I said that.
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that he really cares what other people think of him. I think he has pretty low self-esteem, but hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. What he's achieved already puts most people to shame. And nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him, that's all.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. Okay.
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what bring...
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard tell of a great martial...
Really? People said I know...
But of course. We also heard that Master Dooku is a kind and virtuous...
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing happens on this street...
She's lying to a kid.
So, Master Dugu, have you...
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking about these? I've heard many tales of Juri. For example, probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer stories about sword-fighting heroes.
Oh, I can completely understand that. Then let me ask you this. Do you remember Rough...
Oh yeah, I know that. Before that, people always used to talk about Juri in a kind of nasty tone of voice. But 2 or 3 months ago, suddenly everyone started to like him. Sometimes he gives me candies, so I'm glad that people are starting to like him now.
Just as I thought.
Huh? What do you mean?
I mean, just as I thought, Master Dugu isn't...
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about Juri stories.
Oh, definitely.
Great! So next time I see them, I'll say hi. And...
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to.
Thank you, ma'am!
You're welcome. Well then, fare thee well, Master...
Until we meet again.
Any of that sounds strange to you?
Strange? Mama Juri seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle Gao spoke highly of...
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from? It almost seems too good to be true.
Sudden? Too good to be true? What do you mean?
So he returns cruelty with kindness, and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. But Uncle Soon said even his friends who travel far and wide hear about him wherever they go. Do you remember what Dugu Shuo said about Juri's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. But beyond that, he wasn't interested in the details. That's the reaction I would expect from... Plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Juri has only been happening within the last 2 or 3 months. His childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor. None of these are recent events. So why are these stories only going around now?
When you put it like that, it is...
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Juri was born into a poor family. Paying people to get his stories out there is within the rules of the game as far as I'm concerned. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? He's stayed poor his whole life. Everything he's earned, he's either... Right. And that changes everything. It can mean a powerful faction is trying to gain influence over the Liu at Xixing. That's the worst case scenario. But all too often, the most pessimist...
Someone's trying to gain influence over the Qixing? That sounds serious. Even if we asked Juri about it, surely there's no way he'd admit it.
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Don't worry, I've got a plan. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the assessment? Since the successful candidate is duty-bound to... Whoever is secretly helping Juri must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. Come on, let's get back to Yenshang Tea House. Juri's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up will be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. When we're finished, we'll put our heads together. Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to get to the bottom of this as quickly as we can.
Yikes! We better hurry!
Whatever else Uncle Tian might think of Juri, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look carefully and think critically.
Even though Yelan took half, this is still a lot to get through. Well, we gotta start somewhere. Oh, this reading is giving Paimon a headache. Let's take a break.
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers! Shh, if you're back, that means you finished investigating Tianwei.
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your findings.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Tianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive appraisal of him. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Tianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of—
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's the thing. I asked around, and where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information, but he doesn't seem interested in protecting it at all. Tianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough more off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all— It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like that can—
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing business to make—
to validate his theories. No wonder his manifesto contains so many—
I'm back! Huh? Ah,
Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior skills, and am always one step ahead of the competition. Well, when you're the competition, at least.
you... Ugh, whatever. I'm not getting into an argument with you. If I hadn't had something else to take care of on the way, Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Mingbois.
Well, we're all ears.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbois struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him. On the whole, the feedback from the Ministry of Civil Affairs was very positive. He always—
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Mingbois at all—
I don't believe so. Mingbois is someone who has slowly but surely earned the reputation he had. According to Miss Yu, the ministry often gets Mingbois to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the ministry who—
Whoa.
Like I said before, things are not always as they appear.
Ah! So that's what you meant by that.
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished reading the manifesto? I can't see any immediate problems. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Qiangshu pool has always been home to men. At some point, a rumor began a long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing.
So, did they find any trip?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the Zhiyi's manifesto focuses on solving problems. And this still, this one fact alone—
Excavation? Project? Oh yeah! Zhiyi said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal if any suitable projects—
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So—
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Zhiyi's secret supporter?
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful factions at present. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are...
Shenwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely... What about Juri? Is there another side to him too?
Taking a stroll in the middle of a down...
This is the Blackcliff Forge. Let's look around for clues.
Anything...
Excuse me? What's that supposed to mean? Strange how?
Just, stuff that when it happens, you think to yourself, huh, that was weird.
Huh?
I don't think we're going to get anywhere asking questions like that. Let's just take a look around.
Time to go.
What's this? A diary?
From the back, it looks like a ledger, but it seems they also use it as a site log. We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you think? These newcomers, who could have sent them?
You think they're suspicious?
Yes. Look, it says right there, one of them's already been promoted to team leader. At this rate, by the time the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, they'll be the technical backbone of the team. That'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or steal any Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Jur-E recommends the Blackcliff Forge, no red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff, that's the advantage of planning this far in advance.
When you put it like that, it all makes sense. If we hadn't found this out, so who's really behind all this?
That's a question for the newcomers. But let's start with that worker over there for now.
Excuse us. We want to ask you about the newcomers.
You want them to teach you or something? I gotta say, these newcomers are in tip-top shape. Fast learners, too. They're picking up all the skills unbelievably fast. My only complaint is that they're always going out drinking at night, but they never let us join them. I guess they just need some time to adjust. I'm sure we'll get to know each other over time.
They go out drinking. This area isn't exactly renowned for the nightlife. I'm guessing it's a long trip to the nearest tavern.
You got that right. They tell me they go all the way back to Liyue Harbor to drink at Wanmin Restaurant. It rained after work today, so they actually stuck around at the site for a while. But as soon as the rain stopped, they went out drinking again right away. Hey, you're only young once, right? I say, if they can hack it, let them at it.
Interesting. Let's go talk somewhere else. Looks like our hunch was on the Mora. These newcomers are very suspicious. Drinking in Liyue Harbor, huh? Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints. I doubt they'd...
They went that way! Hurry, we gotta catch up! towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about them.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way. The footprints stop here, but, judging from the direction, I'm guessing they're destined. Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers. Look at these ashes. Someone was.
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind.
The odds of that are.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Black Cliff Forge?
We can't count on that. To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else.
Darn! Guess this is where a trail runs.
Make no mistake. The purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. I smelled something peculiar. Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they...
Really? Paimon can't smell anything.
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate. With some wealthy people there put floral when that fragrant ink is burned. This is the exactly. The evidence will soon be blown away by the wind, but it's all I need.
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you again.
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. He's Wenyuan and Shanghua's colleague. I sent him to look into Zhiyi's regular contacts. Since Zhiyi likes fishing, I left him a note at Yanshang Tea House telling him to look for me at Black Cliff Forge when he got back. If there'd been an ambush waiting for us there, it means we'd have had some backup. So, what did you find out at sea?
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I've come up empty-handed. I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Zhiyi before. When I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Black Cliff Forge and might need backup, so I went straight there as fast as I could. Didn't even stop to change my clothes.
Well, Uncle Tian said that Zhiyi once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen. Did you hear anything about that at all?
What? That's news to me. No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. Lady Yelan, I'm telling you, I spoke to every single fisherman out there, and none of them mentioned anything about a recipe.
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even more wonderful fish soup came about.
Fish soup? What fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hands on some solid evidence. Well, any suggestions? Not a bad idea. Upei, what do you think?
Honestly, I've already tried following Zhiyi, but the guy's too cautious. Never meets with anyone suspicious.
Okay, so tailing's out.
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first, we need to do some groundwork.
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, you'll understand that no one can stay on high alert forever. Especially when he thinks he's about to win. Tomorrow morning, I'll announce his victory at Yuehai Pavilion. Take a guess what you think he'll do next. Be sure to arrive on time. You won't want to miss the show.
Wherever in this world I roam, I carry memories of my home.
It looks like we're all here. Well then, time for me to announce the results of the assessment process. I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu role. Suffice to say that Uncle Tian—
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush. Just get on with it.
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas, but some of his plans are lacking in detail, and he easily gets into— Mingbo is reliable, but not quite ambitious enough. And because of— In contrast, Zhi is evenly balanced across the board, and enjoys an— after much consideration. I have decided—
What?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Honestly, I'm a little surprised to hear my name being announced. In my estimation, all three of us are worthy candidates for the Tianshu position. As your competitor, would either of you entertain the possibility of working with me in the future and taking on some of my workload?
I'll have to see. I'm in a bet.
I don't mind, as long as I can help.
Okay, well, that's all from me. Zhi, you'll have some preparation to do. It won't be long before you're informed of your official—
I will live up to the Tianshu name. On this, you have— I should go. I need to pack my things, and then I think a celebratory meal—
Count me out. I'm not in the mood for a celebration.
Zhi seems pretty relaxed now. This would be a good time to follow him.
Hey, Traveler, tell me something. What exactly does that guy have that I don't? If you can't answer that, I'm not accepting this result.
I, also wouldn't mind no—
Oh no, if we get stuck here, we won't be able to leave!
Follow him.
Yes, ma'am.
We finally got—
Lady Yelan, Jury has gone to—
Follow him.
So Zhi But Uncle Tian thinks so highly of him. Why would he do this?
Difficult to say, but everything should become a lot clearer when we find him.
I'm sorry, Lady A. He's too good at this. We weren't able to keep follow—
How the heck did he manage to shake Yelan? I guess Zhi didn't let his guard down.
No, Upe says he's much more relaxed than usual. Maybe it's just how he's wired.
But
Don't blame yourselves. Let's not forget he was trained by Uncle Tian himself. If I'd asked you to tail Uncle Tian, you'd have ended up at a dead end too.
Shinyue kiosk. He only went in briefly. Upe and I were watching. A few moments later, a man dressed in a completely different outfit came out. Upe had a feeling that it was him. I figured that if we spooked him, it would undo what we've accomplished today so far. Another option would have been— So I stopped Upe, and I stayed here to wait for you while that meathead went to ask—
Good work. The fish didn't take the bait, but that's okay. As long as he's still swimming around, Let's go to Shinyue kiosk.
Could you explain to me how that works? A guy like him comes in, changes his whole outfit right under your nose.
Our customers are free to dress however they please. What grounds would I have to question him?
Okay, fair enough, but didn't you think it was just a—
Well, maybe I did, but it still doesn't give me the right to stop him.
Enough. Let's tone this down a little. I'll make this quick. Just one question.
Oh, he didn't buy anything. He just picked up a bottle of liquor that he ordered ages ago.
A bottle of liquor?
Yes, a very strong kind. Fiery, with a rich flavor. Not some. This gentleman ordered it in person from us a long time ago. He was only here today to pick it up.
Liquor. And
Where to?
Shigu and tea. Hey, Miss Linlong. Sorry to bother you. We're friends of his. He's been telling us how impressed he is with the quality, considering how affordable it was.
Sure. Which model are you looking for?
We don't really know a whole lot about wineware. Let's just go with Jur-E's choice. Would you be able—
Jur-E picked up his set not long ago as a quality imitation of an antique wineware. Just so you're aware, we don't have many of this model left in stock. And now that Mr. Jur-E has taken one, I'm afraid.
Don't worry. Price shouldn't be an issue. I'm sure we can work something out. But I'm just a little—
For this set, the wine glasses are sold separately. Minimum purchase is 1 glass, maximum is 4. Mr. Jur-E bought 2.
Okay. Thanks, Linlong. Seems there's a little—
Well, don't take too long. We could sell out any day now.
This is turning into a real headache.
I'd just like to point out that we have the self-professed Grand Master of Fieldwork here to thank.
It's not like you did any better.
My specialty is information trading, okay? I don't have the physical agility. What's your—
Fair point.
Yelan, so is the oh, if we can't figure out where Jerry went, there's not much we can do. But why was he buying liquor at Shinui Kiosk?
If so, it's no ordinary celebration.
What do you mean?
First of all, Jur-E isn't much of a drinker. On some level, he hates alcohol because of what it did to his father. If he was just looking to celebrate by himself, he wouldn't spend his meager savings on an expensive bottle of alcohol. No, this is a victory feast, held in honor of Jur-E's private sponsor. Whoever this person is clearly enjoys hard liquor and has a very high status. Now, where might we find Fatui who match—
Fatui officials. Should be either the—
Have both locations surrounded. Take as many—
Lady Yelan, is it time for us to make our move?
Get with the program, would you? This is a covert surveillance operation, in which case, we don't need to change tactics.
Great idea! So we just need to find—
But Lady Yelan, if we get caught, this could—
I'm well aware, but don't you see? Jur-E is gambling everything. Stick to your orders.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Lady Yelan. Jur-E may be a slippery character, but we'll keep a close watch on the movements of all Fatui officials.
I'll be waiting for you at the tea house. If I'm guessing correctly, Fatui officials are likely to take action at night. You should go and get ready. Then meet me at Yensheng Tea House.
What should I try this time?
Time to go.
Perfect timing. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy alone. He's heading in the direction of Qingshu Pool.
Qingshu Pool? That's the place Jerry mentioned.
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible choice, I'll give them that. Qingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of going there. It's one
Oh no. Wait,
Let's go. If my hunch is correct. This is Qingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me.
Never again.
There's been some work done on this place in the past, but it's a bit of a labyrinth inside. The workers left an emergency access route. If we can find it, still, be ready to fight at any moment. Any resistance needs to be
don't worry. We're all professionals here. By the way, Yelan, where are your 3 little helpers at?
They have other things to take care of first. We couldn't afford to wait for them, but they'll...
Stabilize!
Quietly now. Busted. Quietly now.
Gather!
Busted. Wins as I expected, but this shouldn't be too much trouble. Take it easy.
I see that? That's gotta be the Fatui ambassador here to meet you. That must be the emergency access route, right?
Stabilize!
You're mine.
Take it easy.
Solidify!
Here comes the catch.
The water's gone down. Hey!
Take it easy. Take it easy. Busted. Things are about to get dicey. Take it easy. The water's flowed into the groove, and now the statues have lit up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues.
The door is open. Let's go.
We should be nearly at the bottom now. Let's wrap this up.
Solidify! I will have order!
Gotcha! Quietly now. Game's up. Flame's over. Take it easy.
I can tell from the aroma that this is very fine liquor indeed. I'm impressed. Come on, bottoms up. After you, of course.
Oh, sorry. That went down the wrong way. I've never drunk anything this strong before. It'll...
You'll get there. If you want to stay friends with us, you have to...
I'll do my best.
You're more of a lightweight than I thought. Already struggling after one glass? I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you were poisoning your teacher's soup. Come on, another round. Less talking, more drinking.
Sure. You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of poisoning sends shivers down my spine. I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I poisoned him, I had to hide away at...
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. We appreciate all your hard work. But, I have to say, you really are quite a genius at poisoning people. I mean, the poison we brought from Snezhnaya is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an imperceptible, slow-acting poison, and came up with the idea of delivering it through what was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor neutralizes the pungency of the poison, and this process even makes the soup tastier as a result.
It struck me one day when I was fishing. I'm lucky it did. Otherwise, I'm not sure I would have been able to fool Uncle...
You have performed excellently. The Fatui will continue to provide the support you need to consolidate your position as Tian Shu. Aside from Qingshu Pool, we also have some other requests for you, which we...
Don't worry. Whatever tasks you have for me, I will perform...
Did you hear that? It was poison! That's why Uncle T... What a nasty guy!
him.
Hold on. Did you bring a camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene. We have to cap...
Excellent. We've seen no progress on the diplomatic front, and everyone has been eyeing up the treasure. But soon, everything will be taken care of, and I can report back on it. I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey.
How could I forget? You said a lowly commoner like me could never be seen as a serious candidate for the Tianshu. No matter how hard, the only way is for you to shine bright in the Tianshu's darkest moment. I think you were absolutely right.
Yes. Under normal circumstances, the gap between you and other people could only... Just look at your two competitors. Chen Wei had wealth. Ming Boa had reputation. But you... And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone, and it'll guard your home.
Yes. I cannot thank you enough for your generous...
You know, the best thing about you is that you do as you're told without... Heck, when you're not in the company of the Fatui, you'll be able to throw your weight around as much as...
Uncle Gao said that Jur-E has low self-esteem. Seems he was worried that whatever advantage he might have now will diminish over time. So the Fatui persuaded him that he should act while he can. Do you have any more film in the camera? Then get ready to use it. How well this goes for us depends on how...
Ooh, is there any more alcohol? Go on. Fill me up. I'm in a good mood today.
There's only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like it, I can bring you some more next time.
Whoa, this is the good stuff. It is great. Huh? What the? Jur-E, you...
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov. How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my life studying and reflecting to prepare myself for this position. And in the end, you really think I'd put myself through all that just to become your little puppet?
You imbecile. It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you understand?
Do you see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosive.
What?
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join the Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. Their plan was... but things didn't quite go to plan. Mistakes were made that led to the accidental death. Faced with the overwhelming evidence, the embassy won't investigate this any further. It explains why you acted alone. Well, Of course, none of that will have anything to do with me. When all of this comes to my attention, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to cancel the Qingshu pool.
Jur-E, do you really think you're gonna get away with this? The Fatui... After I die, they'll come looking, and...
A record? Oh, you must... Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theophan to... He'll help me tie up all the loose ends. After all, your untimely demise comes... He has been eyeing your position...
That traitor!
Shh. Relax. It's sweet dreams, Mr.
I did a little surveying on the way here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things... I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying it, we were here the whole time and have pictures of everything. They came up...
The game's up? Forgive me, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, Miss. I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext of joining forces and eventually brought them down from within. If it pleases you, Miss...
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do to convict you is establish that the poison in his system is the same... Nothing else you wanted to add? Let's leave...
One wrong move and it all comes crashing down. I should have been more... You followed him here, didn't you? I was so focused on keeping myself out of sight, I forgot he was a potential liability. Let's talk about this, Yelan. I gave you my word that I would live up to the Tianshu name, and that much I can still guarantee.
Your point being?
When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. In fact, all of you here tonight can expect very generous treatment in the future. I don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But given my lowly origins, what other choice did I have?
You still don't get it, do you? Even now. What do you think? Exactly. Jur-E, clever people can always come up with a good excuse. But while you might be able to get other people to believe you, you'll never be able to deceive yourself. There's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect, but when has Uncle Tien ever looked... He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay that by poisoning him. Whatever
That's enough.
Of course. What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no other way. Uncle Tien was always going to give you out of everyone in the world. He is the one who trusts you the most. So much that he drank your fish soup without doubt.
That's enough! That's enough.
Life is like fishing. It cannot be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan, but you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Jur-E these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish soup, don't let him in.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot. If the Fatui find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
Huh?
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. I'll have someone remove the explosives.
Need our help with that?
No, it could be dangerous. You should leave this one. Don't worry. As long as they're willing to get some rest.
There is now no poison left in his system, but recovery from the damage already done.
Dr. Baishu, is my father going to be...
You needn't worry too much. Keep taking the prescribed medicine every day, and It's good we caught it in time. A few days later, and the toxin would have built up in the internal
How did they successfully secure such a seldom seen poison? It seemed, unfortunately for them, they were up against us.
Uncle Tian will be heading off now. Remember to get plenty of rest and avoid overexerting yourself while you're recovering.
Don't worry, I will. Thank you very much. Ah, you're here too? Thank you for all you've done to resolve. Yes, the exhaustion seems to have gone. My mind is steadily getting clearer again.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a pressing issue.
Hey, Yelan!
My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd take a minute to check in here. The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tian. In my opinion, Zhi is...
You have my gratitude. People can change their loyalties easily.
Is it just Paimon, or is Uncle Tian not that surprised?
Don't underestimate Uncle Tian. He wouldn't have appointed me as assessment officer if he hadn't had his doubts about Zhi. Normally, the Yuehai Pavilion would be responsible for assessing the candidates. Isn't that right, Uncle Tian?
Yes, to be quite honest. When I first met Zhi, I conclude in the end, even he changed. I never had any plans. I had no reputation to speak of when I first became Tianshu. I relied on Ganyu's assistance for all manner.
I have to admit, he's a smart guy, and very caught. The intel suggests that the Fatui saw him as very low risk. He chose that specific liquor from Xinyue Kiosk because the fiery flavor would mask the bitterness of the poison. He also installed a secret compartment in the wine pot he bought to hold the poison. As the amount of liquor went down, he'd shake the pot to release the poison from the compartment into the liquor. Afterwards, we also found he had an antidote on him. Had the Fatui official grown suspicious, Zhi would have drunk the poisoned wine himself, and then found an opportunity to take the antidote shortly afterwards.
But that's still really dangerous.
Yes. Had he drunk the poisonous wine, he still would have faced serious health consequences despite taking the antidote. He didn't hesitate to put him...
How is Zhi?
Well, I mean, he's sitting in a jail cell. Like Yanfei, still, he's cooperating. He didn't turn down my offer to strike a deal. I'll make sure there are plenty...
A deal? Does this have to do with what you said to him when you were...
Yes, Zhi's not the one I'm interested in. But once the Fatui became involved, things got a whole lot...
Well, did you?
Almost. Unfortunately...
Uncle Tian? Yelan? What are you talking about? Paimon doesn't...
Zhi colluded with the Fatui to try and secure the position of Tianshu. Or, to put it the other way around, the Fatui made an attempt to... With Yusupov in our hands, and a statement from Zhi, we could afford to... Also, we'd be able to gain control of Theophan, Yusupov's second-in-command. Then we'd have a pawn in the ranks of the... Pawns like this can be major assets. They open up all sorts of new options. Why else did you think I was investing
So, okay...
We got halfway. The first part went off without a hitch, but when we tried to make contact with Theophan, he was gone.
The Fatui must be spying on us.
I found out from other sources that the Harbinger, Regrator, got... The Fatui's main forces aren't concentrated here. Regrator was only treating this as a peripheral concern. It's a pity that Theophan got away, but knowing which Harbingers are still looking at Liyue is something.
I have to ask, Yelan, do you have any desire to take over the position of Tianshu yourself? I remember you showed some interest a few days ago at Yenshang Tea House.
Oh, that. I was obvious. I prefer my current life, although it'd still be a behind-the-scenes role, as Tianshu. All right. I'm done here. Time for me to go. I'm heading off again in a few days, and I still have to prepare.
Where
time?
As you might have guessed. But I'm sure if you keep going as you are, getting yourselves involved in other people's business, maybe I'll see you the next time danger beckons. Until then, keep your wits about you. A lot of people... If you have any more questions, just ask Uncle Tian. After the